Hello and welcome back to Tetris. So yesterday we got, or last time, whenever, I don't know when I'm going to release this, come on. So last time, we did Game Over, and we got that working. So let's take a look at how that looks. Man, I really need to, not have more than one Chrome window open. Um, so basically you can click New Game, and then if you cause the Game Over condition, by, playing not so great, then you will see it goes game over. But we do have a small bug with the pause. If I say pause game, then it resumes until the next block comes in, which is definitely not what we want. So we need to figure out how are we going to get the pause button we need to get the pause button in here to work, or to not do anything when it's game over. So if paused and is not game over, then resume. Else, I mean, it shouldn't be working as the strange piece of the puzzle. So what I'm going to do is we're going to open up our debugger. I'm going to place a breakpoint inside of, I think it's game, right? That's where pause is. So we'll go inside of game. We have pause. So I'm going to place a breakpoint here. Refresh for good measure. Click new game. And we're going to cause a game over by just not being very good at Tetris, right? I mean, come on. The goal is totally to try to get it to the top as fast as possible, right? I mean, no? Oh, okay. So self.paused is equal to false. Self.is game over is also equal to false. Why did I hit this? Does my game over pause the game? I think, yeah, my game over pauses it, doesn't it? Yep, game over does pause and then throws some stuff up there. Which maybe it shouldn't do. Well, but we do want to stop the engine. I mean, it's kind of a nice use of this function. But anyways, we continue on, right? And now if I click pause game, self.paused is true, and self.is game over is never getting set to false. So self.game over, I need to set it, and I'm not. Okay, so that's a pretty simple bug to fix now that we found it. Is game over true? Okay, so sadly, we have to test this again. Make sure that our change did something. So we move the blocks down. And well, that's the first time. So now we click pause. So we'll move the breakpoint and we repaused. So what I need to do is wrap the whole thing in self.isGameOver. Or, yeah, let me just do that so that it doesn't do anything, because we're just going to keep making it darker until it goes away into oblivion. And that's not what we want. So we're going to wrap everything in this condition. So we'll have another master if statement. If not game over, then do some stuff. And that will be valid because we're setting the game, we're pausing it and then we're setting game over to true. So if we were to set game over to true and then pause it, it wouldn't work. So we want to pause it, set game over to true, and then it'll never be able to be paused or unpaused. And probably even better UI experience would be just remove it from the page completely. But it's always good to like make sure that you can't do anything. So trigger it one more time. And game over. Non-functioning button. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Okay, let's get into some templating because that game over screen looks rather dull. It's just game over at the top, and we don't have. You know, I like that it turns gray or it like fades out, which I want, but then I want something inside the center. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a little bit of templating. And what I mean by templating is we're going to build out something that kind of looks the way we want. And then pull that in. So just to do this, what I'm going to do is going to well, actually, let's use a tool. Let's use the tool. So we'll go to JS Fiddle because that's just my preferred tool. There's Plunker. There's all these other ones, right? It doesn't really matter where you go. We'll just go somewhere and play with stuff. All right, so we have jQuery, right? And basically, all I want is let's create an outer section or something, right? And we'll give it an well, just create the section. CCTION. Okay. And over here, we're going to say the section section. Let's say height is 320 pixels, and the width is 150 pixels. Okay, and we'll set our background color to RGBA 0.5. There we go. Cool. So we run that, we get a gray box. Perfect. That's what we want. Now we need to start building our screen. So what I want is a little div, and so we'll replace a little div in there. And the div is going to have a background color of white for now. And we don't really need color black, but I'll throw it on there. And this section is also going to have padding. No, is the section going to have padding, or is this going to have margin? I think it's going to have margins. So margin 0 and 20. Let's say 30% and 20%. It's kind of a crazy. so used to doing that because I like save my changes. It's like built into my hands to save. I think we also need to, let's do position relative on this, just to mark it. position relative. And then down here we can do position absolute. Okay. We run that, and I don't see any div. We do have a background color on it, but I don't see it. Width 100%, height 100%, HT box sizing, border box, and run that. Okay. Oh, because we're position absolute. Do I want position? No, I don't want position absolute, actually. That doesn't look good. Having 10%. Aha, that's a little more what I wanted. So what I was looking for was to have a kind of a screen. So this is the box, right? The playing field, and we're simulating that it's grayed out. And then here we're gonna have some sort of box that says, "Hey, you lose or you win." Which you never really win, but it's like game over, and then would have some sort of information in there. So we're just building this out. So now we go padding, not padding. Well, I do want to adjust the padding. I want the padding to be a little more on the top and the bottom. So we're going to say 30% on the top and bottom and 10% on the sides. Stop doing that. Okay, so that's a little more in the center of the screen. Again, I don't know how this is going to look when we actually use it in the actual game itself. What are our board dimensions? I don't know. Doesn't matter. All right, but we do want to give this box. We'll say this. We'll call this the splash screen. Class equals splash and dot splash. I'm gonna be constantly doing that, guys. I'm sorry. And actually, I want. What I just did, width 100%, height is to be determined, and padding. Just do 20% on the top. Stop. Okay, that's strange. Let's place some stuff in here, right? So let's do an H1 of game over. Okay. We want splash H1 to be text align center. looks better. And I think I want a border around it, actually. Strange for me. Border, let's do a 3-pixel solid black border. Aha, there we go. That's looking a little better. So then I want to display things like the score on it. So we'll do game over, and then let's put a little paragraph with emphasized text that says, thanks for playing EMP. And we need to center that as well. So we'll go dot splash P. And then we want to tell them what their score was. Oh, yeah, sorry. Final score. Final score. And then the trick here when doing templating is to place your tokens. Place something that you can replace later. So I'm going to use a span for that. And basically I'm going to give it a span of a class of score. And there's not going to be anything in the span. Well, I'm going to put something in the span for the moment, just so I can see it. Alright, final score, and what was our other thing we want? Time. We could do time played. Time played. I'd like to put that here, but at the moment it's not gonna. It's not going to have a value since we're not actually keeping track of that yet. It's not something we had thought of keeping track of. So time played, and we'll do, what, 1 minute and 45 seconds for the moment. Just to, again, see how this looks in the template. You guys will see why I'm calling it a template in a little bit. And one more thing I wanted was, so there's, let's see, number of blocks. And create another span class, block count, and we'll say 20 span, and end the paragraph. Okay, when we run that, we get, it looks like our, it's a nice little message box thing, right? So this is our template. And, well, actually, I think, well, yeah, we'll just copy this for now. So we need to copy this piece over to our code. And what I'm going to do, this is going to seem really strange to some, but this is how it's done. This is frameworks like Angular, Backbone, Knockout, possibly. Different frameworks use this same exact technique, and so we're just going to do the same thing but on our own. So we create a script tag and then give it an invalid type. So it could be anything, type equals elephant, type whatever, but I usually go with type text template. It kind of tells me what it's for, but it doesn't matter what it is. It just has to not be JavaScript or ECMAScript or anything like that. Now, when you do that, you're going to want to give it also an ID, and we'll call it the game over template. Okay, why did I go through this? Why did I do that? Why did I create this piece of code here? And the reason is because the reason is because then we can use jQuery to go game over template .html, and it gives us our template. And then we just do our small replacements, and then we shove it on the page. So that's going to be actually very simple. So what I'm going to do is we need to get the CSS over before I lose that. So where's index CSS is here. And we can't use section because that's going to cause problems for our other. So what I need is, we're not going to call it section, we're going to call it splash back. No, wait. Oh, I don't want this. That's already been provided. Okay, so I just want splash. So our template doesn't need that. I forgot about that. Sorry. Where's our templates? Index HTML. We don't want this section because that section is already in our code. We have it under what is it called? The that pause div. So we've already got that. Now we just need this, except the positive doesn't have any padding on it. So we are going to need to add a little bit of padding to the paused. Position absolute, top right, bottom left. Ooh. Let's try this, right? Padding 20%, 30%. No. 10. Okay. Alright, so then we need an index.js, and we need to go, we're going to create a function. I'm going to use another technique here that I haven't really shown you guys, and I'm going to create what's called a namespace. And this namespace is going to hold some stuff for me. So I'm going to say UI equals UI or an empty object. And what this is doing is it's giving me the ability to place it on global, but place functions on global, but without having to what's it called? Without having to clog up everything on global. So it's like I create one thing. So usually for my applications, I'll have something that's like, for this I would have created a namespace called Tetris and then placed everything under Tetris. But for the moment, I'm just going to do UI. And so UI is kind of, you think of it and you use it kind of like we were doing with self, with the objects. You do self dot whatever to expose the function. So now we can just do UI dot something. So UI dot game over, right, equals a function. And we want it to take what, a score, time, which we don't have anything for at the moment, score, time, and blocks, or block count. Okay, so then what we want, this is where we actually get down into the jQuery and do our selection. So we want to select game over template. So return. Okay. Game over template dot HTML. We'll say this is template. So var. Okay, and then we'll go template dot find, and we're looking for dot score. So now we're going to replace what's in our template pieces. So template find dot score, and then HTML our score. And same thing for the other. Template find time HTML time. Template template find what did I call it? Block count dot HTML and block count. And then we want to return the template because this is what I consider a UI builder. So this builds the game over object and returns it, and then we can just stick it on whatever we want, which we have inside of the game here. So when we hit game over, we do self box find blah, and then we also want to do so we set the game over true, and then self box HTML equal to UI dot game over self dot score, for now a string of 145, and self dot block count. And in theory, if this all works, it will show up when we hit game over. It will show up a thing, and we will test this out next time.